Hey, Dan Passarelli here. Happy Monday. Good start to the week. S&P 500 is basically flat, just up a smidge. SPY closing at 624 spot 81 today. And that looks pretty good. Near all-time highs, not at all-time highs, but pretty darn near all-time highs. In fact, the market is up 6.6% so far this year. And considering we're just a little bit past the halfway point of the year, it's kind of about what you would expect for an average year. An average year is up 10%, not being inflation adjusted. So we're right about there. Now, that's all fine and good, but here's what I find to be sort of interesting. The top 10 companies in the S&P 500, because keep in mind, the S&P 500 is a weighted index, they have the most sway on the index itself. If we were to remove the top 10 companies from the S&P 500, so we're talking Apple, Microsoft, Nvidia, Amazon, Alphabet, and others, the S&P 500 would only be up about half of that, 3.39%. So the contribution of those companies is very overweighted in the overall results. A lot of companies are actually down. But here's what's even more interesting. Those companies all have something overall in common. Not all of them. But of the top 10, Apple, Microsoft, Nvidia, Amazon, Google, Meta, Tesla, a couple others. What do these companies all have in common? Well, they all have their hands in AI. Now, we've talked about AI in these videos quite a bit. Right now, there's a race for AI dominance. We don't exactly know what would be dominating, but we're competing against China, especially in dominance for AI. And so we get our ups and downs with it because there's not really a solid end game except for being the best at this thing called AI, whatever it does in the future. Because we still don't know exactly whatever it does, what those applications will be, no, it's reasonable to believe that there will be some important applications. We get a lot of ups and downs. So because we've got a lot of chips in the AI basket when we're looking at the market overall, the next nosedive that AI takes will certainly drag down the entire market itself. Just those stocks alone, they provide 3% of the 6%. So basically 50% of how much the market is up. If those stocks turn around, well, then not only will those stocks go down and drag the market down, but other stocks will fall in sympathy to them. Okay, but there's still yet another side to this story. Today, Trump announced that he was unveiling a $70 billion investment in AI and energy, which, as I understand it, will be mostly in Pennsylvania. That's where he made the announcement. And obviously, Pennsylvania does a lot with energy, right? Coal mining, right? That then can give a bit of more of a boon for AI businesses. Now, $70 billion spread out, $70 billion sounds like a lot of money. I mean, I think it's kind of a lot of money. I would take 1% of that. But spread out among a number of companies, including energy companies. And by the way, how do energy companies factor into this? Well, because AI uses a great deal of energy. And so in order to build AI, we're going to have to build out our infrastructure for energy too. That can help some of those AI companies directly and or indirectly, but will it really be enough to make a big difference and to give further outperformance to the S&P 500 overall. Lot to unpack here. Hope that helps. This is Dan Passarelli. Trade smart.